The experience of having a family member in prison can have profound effects on both the person in prison and their loved ones outside. Families have often been termed the hidden victims of crime and punishment because the plight of this group was unseen and the difficulties they faced were relatively unknown. But now in Scotland and elsewhere, the experiences of prisoners' families continue to be highlighted through campaigning, research and the media. As families are not all the same, the experiences of imprisonment will differ. Having said that, research has found that there are some common experiences. So what are some of the implications for families? Families in many ways share the experiences of imprisonment with prisoners. And one of the most important impacts of imprisonment is that it can cause significant emotional distress for the entire family. Parents, children, and the partners of prisoners can experience a sense of loss, sadness, and anger. Separation caused by imprisonment may put strain on relationships and cause trauma, and this is likely to be worse when families are faced with long-term prison sentences such as a life or an indeterminate sentence, for example, an order for lifelong restriction. The trauma of having a loved one sent to prison can also be made worse by the stigma of certain crimes and imprisonment itself, and this may be particularly acute when the crime is of a serious violent nature. Families and children can experience additional pressures such as discrimination, hostility, and bullying in their communities, particularly if there has been media coverage of the crime. This can leave families vulnerable and lacking in support. Visiting a prison is essential for the maintenance of family ties during a custodial sentence, although visiting can positively impact a prisoner and their families during that time. Prison visits can also be distressing, and families are exposed to security measures and restrictions and are placed under surveillance during this time. Visits can also be emotional, and saying goodbye at the end can be difficult, and they can also be expensive. Prison visiting, therefore, can be a source of financial stress, which may increase existing financial deficits, where household income has been lost due to imprisonment, and the prisoner becomes dependent on the family outside. Overall, imprisonment gives rise to a number of hardships for children and families, and these are experienced on personal, structural, and cultural levels. Because of this, the effects of imprisonment on families is an important social policy issue, which is worthy of our understanding, consideration, and concern in schools, universities, and our workplaces, as well as in law and policy. For more information on the effects of imprisonment for families of prisoners, please look at the learning resource titled Impact of Crime, Families of Prisoners. Thank you.